by. Too close, and Mitch did not like people anywhere in the vicinity. A clump of rocks rose in an untidy pile on the edge of the sand crescent before it was cut off by the cliffs, big enough to hide a boat. He approached at an angle, old cop habit. There would be nothing to find but some harmless guy taking time out to smoke a cigarette or a beachcomber hunting for shells. The Central California coast, after all, was a place that encouraged solitude, and that was why it was perfect for Mitch. But the clenched muscles in his gut refused to relax as he reached the rock pile, skirted it, and found the boat. It was a plain aluminum vessel with an outboard motor glinting in the sunlight. Probably a rental from the dive shop. No one around. If Mitch was a normal guy, he'd have his cell phone out taking pictures, calling the local cops to report a trespasser, but he carried no cell phone and never intended to again. He waited, listening over the sound of the waves for the intruder's whereabouts. Nothing. The wind whipped his battered cowboy hat, threatening to snatch it as he hunkered down. Nothing and no one, not for the 10 minutes he waited there. Rosie nickered from the far end of the beach, her way of saying, "What's the matter with you?" Good question. He turned to go. A figure rose up from the rocks above, backlit by the fog-dulled sun. Black ski cap pulled down across the brow, wiry torso covered by a nylon windbreaker, black jeans, booted feet. Mitch could not see clearly for a moment, but he did not need to. His senses could not believe it was his brother, Wade, standing on the rocks staring down, but his heart told him it could be no one else. Wade cracked a smile.
"Hello, big brother. You're ugly as ever. Scar hasn't faded, has it?"
The ripped edges of the wound had healed, but the real damage never would. His brother, his blood kin, the psychopath, had escaped from prison. Mitch's worst fear stood above him like the creatures from the old monster movies he'd watched as a kid. He'd stopped watching those flicks when he'd learned that man was the greatest monster of all. This man in particular, his brother, Wade. Wade's left hand was concealed behind his back. Mitch knew what was coming. Wade had him pinned right and proper. Wade was smart, probably smarter than Mitch. Only Mitch's dogged determination had brought him down, but now Wade had the upper hand in every way.
"You're an idiot, Mitch,"
he told himself. Aloud he said,
"Finished that prison sentence already?"
Wade laughed.
"You know I'm the impatient type. Remember when I took your horse because Mom wouldn't let me have the car?"
He remembered. Wade had whipped the horse until its sides were bloody, and Mitch had been so furious it had ended in a fistfight, with Pops barely able to separate them. It always ended badly when he was anywhere near his brother. The darkness in Wade's soul rubbed off on those around him, like he suspected it had on Wade's wife, Jane. Then again, maybe she'd been just as twisted as him from the get-go. Venomous. That was Wade Whitehorse, and anyone who stayed around him long enough got a full dose.
"Prison didn't agree with me."
Wade smiled, teeth glaring white in the sunlight.
"And I had a few debts to settle up, of course." "So you borrowed a boat and came to find me? I'm flattered." "You're sloppy, and the boat isn't mine. I don't like the water, you remember. I prefer horseback. You have a routine, exercising your horse here along the beach at just this hour. You made it easy. Easier than escaping from the marshals during the prison transfer."
He clucked.
"Disappointing."
Now the hand came around from behind, and Mitch saw the gun. He knew it instantly, bile rising in his throat. Wade smiled.
"You recognize it, I can tell." "Granddad's revolver."
Passed down to their father. The first time he'd ever fired a gun had been with that revolver, his father standing tall and proud behind him. He'd loved that gun.
"Wondered where it had got to." "Pops never let me have it. I hated him for that." "He didn't want to give a gun to a psychopath."
Mitch shrugged.
"It's called good parenting."
Wade's eyes